Welcome back, everybody. This is the Edip Experience podcast where we make education your business. Joe Sallustio back with you again, live here in Doha, Qatar at the WISE conference. I am meeting some incredible folks today. Another incredible folk sitting in front of me. And we're going to talk about something that I know nothing about and he knows a lot about. And I'm going to bring him in right now. Here he comes. He's literally, again, he's another person running down the hall. He's CEO and Chief Innovation Designer at Tech-AdaptiKa. His name is Hosni Zaouali. What's going on, Hos?
Hey, Joe. How you doing? Thanks for the invitation, man.
All right, so tell me about Tech-AdaptiKa. What do you guys do?
All right, well, Tech-AdaptiKa creates the first metaverse for education.
Okay.
We want to create the universal campus for hundreds of millions of students out there, free of charge, where teachers can deliver some content and hundreds of thousands of students able to learn on a daily basis.
All right, so let's, a lot of people, when somebody says metaverse, it's not the Marvel universe that we're talking about here. We're talking about the actual metaverse. What is the metaverse? And I feel like the metaverse is an elusive concept, kind of like NFTs. It's like this thing that nobody really knows anything about.
Yeah.
Define for me, what is the metaverse and why do we need to know what it is?
Well, it's actually more simple than the NFTs. The idea of the metaverse is actually to bring the internet into a 3D world.
Okay.
All right. So instead of going to the Nike website to choose your next Air Jordans, you will literally, with your avatar, walk into a virtual campus where you get in the store called Nike, and there will be someone coming to you or coming to your avatar and say, hey, what are you looking for? And say, oh, I'm looking for the next Nikes. And you try them on with your avatar, and then it gets shipped to your home. So the metaverse, really, it's simply a 3D world where everybody will be able to interact with each other.
That's you know what? And I'm just feeling shocked because I'm going, okay, are you saying that I'm going to be sitting at home? I'm going to have VR goggles on? Is this what it would be like? Because it's not a 2D world, it's a 3D world. How do I experience that?
That's right. Well, so right now they have this whole Oculus Rift kind of
Right.
tools. I do believe that this is just a trend. It's just going to disappear because it's not convenient at all. We create, for instance, our virtual campuses for big universities and corporations only on computers and mobile. So you don't need those goggles to hang out in your metaverse. It's almost like a video game where you have your avatar and you go to school, you go, to the marketplace and do whatever you have to do while interacting with hundreds of people at the same time.
So is it like like an AR kind of thing where it's is it projecting if I'm experiencing it in a laptop or a phone? Am I projecting? Is this kind of like the Iron Man thing where my watch pops up and shows me what I want to see? I mean, or is it too techie? Is it to really understand?
Well, we're not there yet, right?
Right.
The industry is not mature enough for that. Right now, it's on the computer, almost like a video game. Let's just say you have University of Florida wants to create their own virtual campus.
Okay.
All right. They will literally give us the plans, all the drawings of their campus. We'll build it for them. And now their students and even more students will be able to hang out in University of Florida.
Be inside of it.
Be inside of it, walk the streets of it, talk to people. And for the university, it's amazing because they can multiply the revenue model. Instead of having 25,000 students, now they can have 75,000 students and make them come to Florida every 6 months, twice a week, twice a year. And that's really the idea and why it makes so much sense for universities and corporations to have their own virtual buildings, virtual universe.
It's interesting because now I start my mind. You're getting my brain to, and I'm tired. So my brain is not working like it usually does, but I'm thinking to myself, all the people that I would want inside my metaverse if I'm at the University of Florida that are not at the University of Florida. And all of a sudden now I have them in a virtual campus. Maybe they do enroll at the University of Florida. Maybe they take an extra class at the University of Florida because they start to experience what it's like to be there, right?
Absolutely.
That's interesting. What about higher ed? What about K-12? How is the metaverse going to disperse itself within higher education and elementary education?
So very good question. Okay, let's talk about K-12, for instance. We have this program called the Online Homework Help. The Online Homework Help is actually in our virtual campus for kids, K-12, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Students can go and they interact with each other. They ask the help of teachers. There are teachers over there helping them. They go to class. They have some scavenger hunts. So you multiply the opportunities for them to talk with people and solve problems together and do homework together. So it takes you out of your isolation. The problem with online education right now, as we know it, is just like too often you're just watching a pre-recorded video made by a teacher you never met.
Right.
Here you have real people through the avatar that you can interact with, and it's a massive hit. At least in Canada and in the US, it's a massive hit where you have thousands of students hanging out every Monday to Thursday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., and getting for free, getting the help of teachers in English, in math, and so on and so forth. So that's for K to 12.
Right.
That's huge. Now,
Higher ed.
higher ed is really good because you are able to accommodate more students, more executive students even. So let's put it this way. Which university did you go to, Joe?
I went to, for my undergrad,
Yeah.
I went to SUNY School, State University of New York, College at Oneonta.
All right. SUNY School.
Mhm.
All right. Imagine this, if in SUNY School, I'd be able to, get a degree.
Yep.
It's pretty awesome because now I have the content, great teachers, I have the degree, I have the stamp, of SUNY School. But something is missing, really, especially for online education, is that networking aspect. If
Yep.
I'm taking an online program, I rarely meet these hundreds of other students who are taking the same online program. This metaverse for education will be able to create that ecosystem and show it to you, create that network. So now people know each other more. So they have the content, they have the stamp from SUNY, the degree,
Yep.
plus they have the network, which is extremely important. That's the reason why we're sending our kids to university. It's really to interact with each other. You need a way that is more interactive to do it online. AdaptiKa found a way.
So I'm looking at AdaptiKa, your description of what you have on your LinkedIn, and you say AdaptiKa helps large corporations and universities better transition the disruption caused by artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Disruption. And I think when I think disruption, I think about something that is making me change. But we, in say higher education, we talk about artificial intelligence. We talk about VR, AR as if we're really going to do it. But when it comes down to it, we really don't, because maybe we don't have the resources, the understanding, the will. Maybe we're change averse. We really just don't like that disruption. What needs to happen for universities to really to grab on to artificial intelligence? And is AI ready to be grabbed onto, so to speak?
Very good question. I don't think that AI is ready yet. That's the first thing. However, simple AI, what I call dumb AI, is ready enough to disrupt many industries. By 2030, we're talking about 600 million to 800 million people who will lose their jobs.
Really?
You need to retrain these people.
Mm-hmm.
And by retraining these people, the universities and all education institutions out there, they have a huge responsibility, but also a huge opportunity to get on the metaverse for education from AdaptiKa, hopefully, and really train these people. So there's a huge demand, whether or not AI is ready, whether or not the metaverse is ready. They need to find a way for people to get retrained, collaborate, and create these human interactions online.
What would a university do? Okay, so a university comes to you, AdaptiKa, and says, hey, look, I'm ready to embrace AI, even simple AI for dummies. What does that look like? What's one of the first things that you would walk into a university and do? Is it individualized so much? Is it, hey, here's just a simple list of things that you could do to start adapting to AI? How does that look? Is it student focused? Is it administrator focused? How do you work through that first couple of steps? Because I can guarantee you for sure, and I know more than most in the world, college and university presidents, because I've interviewed, I don't know, close to 150 of them now. You want change, but you have to dip your toe in kind of into the water before you're really ready to go for it. What does that toe dipping look like for AI?
I do believe that you're right, Joe. You need a lot of courage as a educational institution director, president, to make these changes, because you have everything around you that tells you don't do it. Why would you do it? It worked like this for the past 100 years. But the world has changed. And I can tell you one thing, you can't improve what you can't measure, or you can't improve what you don't measure.
Mm.
AI will help you measure better what your students want, who your students are, so you're able to deliver a more personalized education for what they want to be, who they want to be.
I think about that and I go, one of the, as an administrator myself, I've been in higher ed for 20 years, and I think about this stuff all the time and I go, but if I dip my toe in the water and I disrupt the learning of my students, then my students aren't going to want it. And then I don't want to look like a dummy. I don't want to look like the AI dummy. But in the end, students do want that technological disruption. They're begging for it. Students today, I don't care if you're an adult student, if you're a traditional student, Facebook's for old people now, and TikTok, and you have Instagram and all. Swipe, if you get a 5-minute swipe, that's about 4 seconds too long. And then it takes kids today just move through stuff. Adults, same thing. Are students ready? Do you think the average student is ready to grab on to AI?
Not only they are ready, but they're also aware. They're aware that there's a problem. Look, we are in a generation, as you said, where it's about swiping. Why are you giving them a 4-year degree training? 4 years? By the time they finish, it's probably going to be obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first problem. Like, I'm really scared when I have young folks coming to me and say, hey, I'm going to law school. The legal system is going to be disrupted to a level because of AI. It's impossible. The job of a lawyer is not to rock around and say, objection, Your Honor.
Yeah.
That's not the...
Only on TV.
Yeah, only on TV. The biggest job, and 95% of his job, is actually to dig deeper into these papers, and that AI can do that faster, cheaper. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be better than humans. And that's already the case. Students are ready because they've been using like the beginning of the metaverse for quite some time, which is video games.
Yeah.
So they know how to, do Call of Duty together. Instead of killing folks, you're just going to get a better knowledge, a better education, a better interaction. Today, Joe, I have the feeling that most universities have a massive problems in their hands, and some of them are actually taking a great look at this elephant in the room. But look, universities, remember, what did they used to be? They used to be the place where you have really cool learnings.
Mm-hmm.
Today, Netflix documentaries does a much better job than a lot of teachers out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it used to be the place where you go to meet people and interact and fall in love and so on and so forth. That's not the case anymore, especially during COVID. It used to be the place where you go to get a job as well, or you get out of and to get a job. Dude, 50% of waiters in Great Britain have a bachelor degree.
Yeah.
40% of people who have a bachelor degree are unemployed. It's crazy. So we need to really rethink our educational model and try to see what's coming, the opportunities and the risks.
There are a lot of risks, that's for sure. Education still has some value, but to your point, if it isn't reality-based, if that education is not practical, people aren't going to take it. And you look, what's Google doing? Grow with Google, coding, all of those things are creating alternative pathways. I always wonder, is there going to be a time where I can be in my house with whatever device I might be projecting VR and be in a library and take a book off a shelf and be able to read it in the metaverse or in a virtual library? Is that time coming to where online learning, instead of it being 2D, could potentially be 3D? Could I look to my left or my right and see two people who are also projecting their avatar in a classroom where I go sit for an hour actually, but I'm in my living room?
Well, that's already what AdaptiKa does. And
okay.
And the key is actually not really to make them simply learn on a virtual campus, but it's really to multiply these real human interactions among teachers, students, and so on and so forth. These human interactions, this collaborative learning is extremely important if you want to create online learning. And by the way, I'm not against universities. I'm not asking them to shut down. I'm just asking them to accommodate more students.
Yeah.
It's even better for them. But instead of having 25,000 students, you're going to get 75,000 students, 25 on site and the rest online, and you make them rotate. Every 3 months, they come for a month, and so on and so forth. You multiply these opportunities for people to meet and to get educated. But also in terms of practicality, we have companies, like for instance, mining companies who contacted us and said, hey, we can't fly everyone we hire to our mines to learn how to extract X, Y, and Z from this mine. Can you create something that is more collaborative and more simulation based so we can train them? Absolutely. And that's the first module of their training before they get shipped to the mine and just basically use everything they learn in a real mine.
How do we get a hold of you, Haas? How do we find more about AdaptiKa?
I think LinkedIn is the best way, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best way to get a hold of Haas. He's accessible. He's here at Wise. He's walking around. He's talking to people. And you can find him on LinkedIn. Check out AdaptiKa. What's your site for AdaptiKa?
AdaptiKa.tech.
There you go, guys. AdaptiKa.tech. His name is Hosni Zaouali, and he is CEO and Chief Innovation Designer at AdaptiKa. Haas, thanks for coming on the Edip Experience.
Joe, it was my absolute pleasure, and hello, everyone. Or goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
I need to sleep.
Yeah, me too, man. Everybody, you've just ed upped.